Welcome, friends, to another Mercy Moment Emery episode, and I'm coming to you in the dark of night on purpose to deliver a message when you are at the darkest moment of your life, when all hope seems lost and it feels like no end in sight, where there's blow after blow, where your spirit's fatigued, where your soul is restless, and when your heart is weary of life just being so vexing. Have you been there? Am I sharing an experience common to humanity? You bet I am. And I found myself there so many times in this life. I've lived a life of deep adversity, and sometimes in the journey it can feel like it's just one blow after another, and it can feel like there's no end in sight, and what's the point? And it can get so weary that you're like, what's the point of life itself? If we're really honest, friends, this has been a perplexing couple years, globally, socially, economically. There's been so much chaos and unraveling, and everyone feels it differently around the world. I can only speak from the perspective of being in the United States, where we have it really abundant. We have it so good that we don't know what hardship at the core is, like our neighbors and friends and brothers and sisters around the world in third world countries. We really don't know what it's like to be vexed on a daily basis for food, vexed on a daily basis just to stay alive. So perspective is important, but at the same time, we each have this common experience where there's a heaviness, there's a darkness of the night of the soul, and things are just closing in, and it feels like one thing after another. It can be a chain of events where it's the adversity of a loved one in our lives, maybe a health crisis, and then compounded by us physically not feeling well, and then developing into relationship issues. There's a whole assortment of things, but it can feel like things are compounding in life. Have you been there? Can you be honest with me and say, yeah, I get it, Zach, I've been there? I'm relating with purpose right now, friends, because there's been moments, even recently, where it's like, God, I'm just so done. Like, life doesn't stop, and things are so chaotic, and you feel like you can't get above the waves, and it feels like you're constantly being pounded down. If you've ever been at the ocean and gone body surfing, you can get stuck under the power of a wave, and you're just held under, and you're tumbling, might hit your head on the sand, and you're disoriented, and you're gasping for air. And sometimes in life, that can be the feeling. And I just want to speak to you because we've all been there. Maybe you're in that moment now. Hey, there's hope. Things will change. And that's not the hope itself, but we have a God who never changes. He remains the same yesterday, today, and forever. And he understands what it's like to be fatigued. He understands what it's like to be at his wit's end, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And he cried out with the weight of the world, a weight that none of us, no one on the planet, no matter how bad life has been, none of us have had a day so dark, a night so dark, that we cry out in agony with drops of blood, because the anxiety and the pressure was so profound on Jesus that he cried out, Father, take this cup from me, but not my will, but your will be done. But he showed us, friends, the key to finding serenity in a place of storm. Finding serenity in a storm. Here it is, friends. It's surrender. It's surrender. Father, I don't like this, and I don't want this. So it's being honest. But not my will, but your will be done. Yes, God, I don't like it. Yes, I'm exhausted and I don't understand. But not my will, your will be done. So he turned from self-perspective and what he wanted to what the Father wanted. And I find freedom here every time, friends. Every time I turn from my diminished perspective of weariness, fatigue, and exhaustion that's real, and I turn to him and say, Father, there's only one hope but you. And sometimes I need some constant blows and adversity to come to a place where I look up. Instead of looking out, I look up. And I say, Father, I need you. I'm telling you this, friends, pain is a place of revelation. Pain is an invitation to come close. So today, hear the Father's invitation. Come close. I have a lot to show you. In the words of Jesus, the King of all kings, who understands the deepest level, being fatigued and just done, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. May you find that deep soul rest, friends, as you push into him and surrender wholeheartedly. Until next time, onwards and upwards with grace and grit.